Okay, so Michael, go ahead and continue with what you were saying.
So I got the part.
So we were just talking about how this project came about, how everything came together, and Diego, do you want to kick this off and tell everybody how it came to fruition?
Hi. This one's...
Oh, they're just recording the sound, they're not actually...
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
You're not in a band anymore, man.
Thank you for being here. Yeah, this is, even though, I mean, we knew that it would have been great for us to work with Michael, I just have to say why he did auditions. I believe this community hasn't had many opportunities to be represented, so I thought about all of those who are probably out there and they never had a chance to do a film or yeah, to break into theater even. So we did an open call and we sent an email to every theater company, every radio station, that if you thought you could play Cesar Chavez, you should send a tape, and we saw hundreds of them. And it was exciting to see the reaction of a community suddenly wanting to participate. I got so many phone calls and emails of friends and people I've met in the road that suddenly said, oh, I want to be auditioned, please give me a chance, and I want to be part of that project. And it's quite unique that before you even do a film, you already find out it's so important for so many. And this keeps happening and happening till the point that last night, I saw when I got on the stage before introducing the film, the faces of the people around, and you could tell they were already celebrating the chance just to be there, celebrating someone like Dolores, like Cesar, like being able to be part of this is a big thing.
Michael, can you talk about working with Diego as a director?
Yeah, I'm like, it's almost, it's way different than any other director that I've ever worked with. And I'm like, and you know, shooting in Mexico, I think it was really cool. We actually went golfing a couple times, and there was this guy, the caddy, Lupe, no?
Lupe se llamaba, yeah.
And in America, like humble is kind of like in a negative connotation, like, oh, he's trying to be humble or this or that, you know what I mean? But this was like a society, like a group of people that actually did exist. This guy was as humble as can be, but like very smart and funny at the same time, and almost deadpan at delivery. And then I kept meeting more and more people in Hermosillo, Sonora. And I thought, wow, this is an amazing thing, and I'm glad that we shot it there because it was more towards the truth of how, you know, the kind of people that we actually dealt with was, you know, my dad's kind of like that. He's a lot like that. He's like a very humble guy, and he's very soft-spoken. When I got the part of Cesar Chavez, I said, hey, Pa, you know, I got the part of Cesar Chavez. 5 seconds, nothing, and he's like, that one, I do. And then he hung up on me. And see, that's the kind of acknowledgement that, like, you know, that this certain group, and thank God that Cesar Chavez like fought for them, but that's, you know, he was acknowledging them and acknowledging, you know, their life, and he, you know, really fought for them. And, you know, like my parents, I'm sure, like they were both farmers, like I'm sure that they both thanked him tremendously.
Open this up to questions from the audience. Please raise your hand and I will call on you. We want to try to get to as many people as possible. We'll start right here.
I was wondering if you've noticed ways in which your acting experience plays into being a director.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he's super bossy.
Fulfilled your dream.
Definitely, it has. First of all, every day it has to look like you know what you want to do, you know what everyone should be doing, and that you have the answers. And many times you don't have a clue on where to go. I mean, red or green could be both, in fact, you know. And but there's one day that it's all about decisions, and you have to be the one pretending to know. And that confidence, I had to use a lot of my acting skills many times when I knew things were going terrible, and you have to arrive in the morning saying, oh, we're so glad we're here, let's another beautiful day at work. And I knew last night the checks bounced and the film might fall apart in a second. And you have to pretend everything is great. But then, you're using your acting skills.
No checks bounced. Guys, can we scratch that from
But then I have to say that I do see everything from the perspective of an actor. I think I am very aware of their process. If I respect something, is the chance to be surprised by those who are playing the parts, you know, because you know where you want to go and you know what you need. But then once you have that, before having that, I don't allow anything to happen, you know, because I really need that that whatever you dreamed with has to be there. But then there's time for actors to say, well, and what if we go this other way? Or what if I say it this other way? And then magic starts to happen. And the great thing of having actors is being able to be surprised by them, you know. So I trust actors, and I think I was lucky to have these ones, no?
Right back here.
Sure. Michael, what did it feel like to take on the responsibility of a role like this, and what did you draw from to make it so real?
Well, at first I was like completely excited. Then I read the script and I was completely terrified. And it was actually, like, the more and more that I did research, in reality it was like kind of easier to do, because I'm like, he was a person that was just elected to do this thing. It wasn't like a natural born leader. It was just the necessity level was so high because these people were treated very badly, you know, and so he, like, I thought that was really cool, that this was an unlikely hero, a reluctant hero, and then all of a sudden he just rose up because he had to. There's some people and politicians even now that, like, they talk a good game and, like, they're very charismatic and they don't do anything. And then this guy was the exact opposite. He did everything and then tried to take as little credit as possible, and I don't know, it definitely changed my viewpoint about things. I didn't know that it was this rough, to be honest with you. I'm like, you know, my parents came from Mexico, and you hear about it, but you don't really know about it until you, like, actually really do the research. And it was, you know, my hat goes off to him and Dolores, and I'm like, it was not an easy struggle. It was not an easy struggle. There was, like, a lot of nerves, and there was a lot of, you know, when your life, you think that it can end, you know, with one simple decision. I mean, that's life or death, you know. And these people were actually had the courage to actually go through with it and make other people's lives better, not just theirs.
I also want to apologize. I think I neglected to introduce Gabriel Mann is in between Michael and Rosario. I didn't mean to do that, Gabriel. Let's go. Did you have one?
Yeah.
Okay, right here.
My favorite question to ask is if there's any funny or clever or wild stories from the set that's behind the scenes when y'all are just kind of mucking about. And favorite funny stories or favorite mess ups or favorite embarrassing moments.
That might have even happened here.
Yeah, I'll tell you one. Just I got whispered by Dolores, and she's right, and we have to thank them. The Vasco family.
Oh my God!
You know, we shot in Mexico, and we were looking for a Filipino community all around our country, and we found like 14, and they were like 28 hours away in car, and not even in Mexico City. Most of them were in, it was Merida or Merida, I think. So it was so far. It's like saying, oh yeah, we have a community here in New York and you're shooting in LA, you know. It just made no sense. And Darion Vasco, who plays Larry Ilion, said, don't worry, I'll bring my family. And we said, well, your family, that's going to be like 2 or 3. We need 10, 15 people to put in front of camera and make sure they're all Filipinos and we're accurate. And he says, oh no, we're like 10, 15. Yeah.
And they all act and they're all performers.
And they're all actors.
Performers and super charismatic.
And they got in a van and they drove from Arizona to Hermosillo. And when they arrived, it was unbelievable. A few came with their golf clubs, you know, with shorts, like thinking they were going to Cancun or something. They arrived to Hermosillo where we were shooting, and we were like, oh, I don't know if you're going to be able to use that.
You know what I mean? Like, they really did.
But they're in every shot, you know, and then they came to do voices, you know, because there's a moment where you hear shouts and everything, and they came to the studio to do the voices. This is their film, you know. They made sure basically that the Filipino community celebrated on the film as they should, because also not many know, but they were the first ones to go on strike, you know.
Okay, let's go right here.
Hi, my name is Omar from El Dorado, Dallas, Texas. And my question is, we know you are a Mexican citizen. How much did you learn about the Mexican-American activist?
How much did I learn? I learned a lot, not just from him, but everyone around him, and I learned a lot from also those who care about the story today. You know, I think as communities we've been looking for every difference we have, everything that separates us, and that's very stupid. You know, I think we should look for those things that connect us, and we're very similar. And it's, you know, in Washington they gave me a number that I thought it was ridiculous. Just 2% of the business owned by Latinos in this country get to export to Latin America. That tells you how far away we are. It's ridiculous. We have to share our stories, learn from each other, celebrate each other. We're family. It just makes no sense that the Latino experience here, it's not celebrated in Latin America and the other way around, you know. So I learned a lot, and I learned I have to do something, and I cannot let that horrible and stupid wall that keeps growing to separate me from so many people I can learn from, you know, and I can relate and yeah.
Right here.
Yes. So, Mr. Zimmerman, Cesar Chavez did so much throughout his lifetime. How did you pick the moments to put into your movie and just narrate all that information down into 1 hour and 20 minutes?
It was painful, and we edited for almost a year and a half, and I worked with 3 different editors. It was a long process. We have like another 3 hours waiting in a hard drive to be seen, hopefully by people in DVD or something, or probably we'll edit another film and do it from another angle. But there's characters that their complete stories is not part of the film, and it's sad. But that's how it is. You know, I hope this detonates that curiosity in people to go and find out who they really are, because also we did a film, and this comes from a specific point of view, you know. But then the amazing story of Dolores Huerta that she's still writing, it's there for you to go visit and investigate, and the movement it's very recent, so there's tons of film to watch, articles to read, pictures, there's memorials, there's, you know, I hope this is the beginning of something bigger that doesn't stay as a cinematic experience inside the theaters, you know. Yeah.
Let's go on the back. Yeah, right there.
Doing a movie like this, right, is such a historical event, how as filmmakers do you pay homage and respect to what happened, but at the same time throw in your own kind of creativity and your twist or your interpretation of what happened, that fine line between reality and fiction?
Well, that's the main thing. That I guess that separates good film from bad films. You know, like I mean, it's all about listening. It's all about making sure you're gonna please people like Dolores, like the Cesar's family, like Helen, but without forgetting why you're there. You know, and you have to remember that first connection you had with the story. To me, this at the end, if I have to tell someone from a context far away from farm workers in this country, I will say, please watch this film, because it's about a father and a son, and the sacrifice a father has to do to bring better for his family and kids, you know, to change the life of his kids. It's just about that. And it's as simple as that, and I think that makes this film a universal film, and that makes it my film, because I am thinking about my kids. And if I'm honest with that connects with me, then I'm gonna find an audience, because the movement showed us you're not here alone. If something worries you, get out of your little bubble you've created and find who thinks like you. You're gonna find more than one, and then your voice has strength. So same with filmmaking. If you're honest with that connects with you, and you don't try to please anyone but yourself, then you'll find an audience.
Okay, we'll go right here and then you next, right here. Yeah.
Oh, me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry. How did John Malkovich get involved in this film?
The big dog.
He's a good friend. We met in a film festival, and they organized an amazing dinner for all the special guests, and the only two ones that showed up, it was him and I. So we sat down and talked for all night about theater, and Pablo was there, and Russell Smith, who's his partner, and we started talking about doing theater together. And he came to Mexico, directed a play, I acted on, and since then we've been working. He produced the previous film, and with this one there was, I mean, we couldn't use the actual name of the growers or the brands, obviously, because this press conference would be in jail if we would have. But the character of John Malkovich is based on a grower that in fact comes from where his grandparents come from. So we based everything on that person, and we created a role for him, and he was happy to come. And in a way, I thought it was very stupid to bring him at the end, because he showed us all how, I mean, the commitment and how rigorous an actor has to be to become that big. You know, the guy was there at the beginning, left. I mean, he didn't speak Spanish, for example, and he learned Spanish for this. He would be training all day, sitting in his chair, getting ready for it, and just reminded us that if you put that amount of work behind what you do, it pays off.
We'll do you next.
This is directed to the cast. When you play a character who is a real life character, how do you go about capturing the essence of that character without doing an impersonation?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I always do it, to be honest with you. Like Crash was like a cross between my brother and a good friend of mine. And even for comedies, like 30 minutes or less, or like Observe and Report, they're always like from somebody real. So I'm like, I've been doing that for a long time, but there's this added pressure that he actually meant something, and it didn't help that everybody was saying, don't mess this up. Try your best, but don't mess it up. And but with him, for me, it was like a week and a half before filming. Diego's like, I think you should do his voice, man. And I was like, oh man, we were shooting in a week and a half, so I'm like, it was all day, every day, like doing that, and it was the right choice, because it's that kind of cadence that leads you to it. It's almost like if you ask, like, what would your mom think about this, and then all of a sudden you kind of see, life through her eyes, or your dad or whoever. That's a little window as to like what you could do potentially as an actor, and that's what I try to do.
Back here in the back.
Or that's just me? Or like,
Oh, I'm sorry. You guys want to weigh in on
Let them
like,
talk. See.
Yeah, well, I know for you, I don't know, you want to say that?
No.
Okay.
No, you made it up.
For me,
Genius.
For me, I mean, it was really intense and really scary, because I love you. And I got a chance to meet Dolores years before with Voto Latino. We were at a town hall on immigration, and I remember being so excited when I met her. I had gone up to speak, and then she went up to speak, and she was like, I'm sure you don't remember this, but I do. And she was like, well, Rosario said earlier, and I was like, oh my God, she knows who I am. This is amazing. Like I remember just going to my friend. I was like, she retweeted me, and she was just repeating what I said. But now she actually does tweet me, and we call and we talk to each other. We were able to communicate. I'd call her from Hermosillo, and she had notes for the film, and she'd read the script, and she was a part of this, and it was really intense, because I honor you and I love you, and I think she's still out there. You're still out there doing this work, incredible work, and she was getting the Medal of Freedom while we were filming, and so just being able to have the chance to do advocacy work with her, and come and support her foundation, and she's wearing a Voto Latino shirt. It's just I'm beside myself all the time, anytime we have any interaction, and I'm so inspired by you, and have been through my family for many years. My grandmother used to go and translate pamphlets for marches and things into Spanish, and more of the community can be a part of it. This is a legacy that has affected my life for many years. So to have an opportunity to honor that work and celebrate it through something that I've been doing for a long time was so incredible, but also incredibly unnerving and really nerve-wracking, because you want to get it right, and you hope that your presentation is something that they feel good about, because I can't even imagine what that must feel like to watch your life be portrayed in a film, you know, and consolidated down into these little bit moments. You know, they weren't doing this work to be made into a movie. They didn't live it in a perfect 3-4 act structure. They had no idea what was coming up next and that what was going to be successful or what wasn't, you know, and wanting to honor that, you know, the moments where they were plagued by doubt, you know, the moments where they celebrated and just had barbecue and had beer with each other and danced and had music, and they were people, you know, and it's really hard to represent that when you're just having artistic license, let alone when you know that the person's going to watch it later, you know. So I have to say it was really remarkable to see the film with you yesterday, because, you know, Dolores is sitting next to me as we're watching the movie, and she's like telling me her favorite bits and, you know, and what, you know, and I think it would just be really amazing for her to do the DVD commentary, because what I got yesterday just sitting next to you was so remarkable, and something that is the gift of the fact that you're still with us and you're still doing this work, and it's so relevant to you. You know, unfortunately, Richard Chavez died the summer before we started filming, and as obviously, you know, we know Cesar died over 20 years ago, so, you know, but we still have Helen, we still have so many of the different people, and to be able to have that resource is just unbelievable.
Gabriel, would you like to add in?
Yeah, I mean, I think of the roles, I think Diego mentioned it, the role that I played, playing John Malkovich's son, is, you know, was based on someone that we weren't really saying it was based off of, and it was kind of an amalgamation of different things. So, you know, maybe there's little bit of a different kind of freedom there to discover and find things, you know. I mean, I don't know, are these grape growers men we want to honor through our portrayals? I don't know, you know, or their behavior and so forth, and the things that they did. But, you know, so there was some freedom there to kind of see what happened. And there was, you know, Diego created a really beautiful atmosphere on set of kind of openness and discovery. And so, and getting to work with somebody as brilliant as Malkovich, you know, you just sit there in the room and watch him do what he does, and hopefully be present enough to react truthfully to what he's giving you. And I think, you know, if we got that much, then we probably did okay. So, and yeah.
As I mentioned before, Michael's going to have to leave.
Dolores wants to say
Oh,
one thing.
sorry, go ahead.
Just a quick comment on both roles. First of all, I just want to say that what Diego, when he brought in the whole issue of the family, which was something that people don't think about, the sacrifices that families have to make, you know, when you're doing activist work. But we know at the same time, if we don't make those sacrifices, then nothing's going to change, you know, nothing's going to happen. The other thing is, and by the way, that whole story of Cesar's son is something that people really didn't know, and I think that many people, even in the movement, didn't know. So I think it's a really great stroke of genius to put that in the film. And they always say that art is prophetic, and in terms of the grower's son, I just want to say that one of the scenes in there is when Malkovich is talking to his son and kind of putting him down, you know, you got a degree, whatever. And that is so true, because in the grower community, when we started organizing back in 62 and the strike in 68, whatever, but so many of those growers, their sons did not keep up with the farming. And so a lot of those farms have been taken over by the big corporations like Dole and other major corporations, and their sons did not go into farming. It's very rare that many of those bitches, that was a lot. They were all Slavonians, and so they were all related. So the character of the grower kind of represents the whole slew of them. I'm going to be really excited to see what their reaction is when they see them. I just want to say that without even knowing, I mean, the portrayal of the grower's son was just magnificent, and so I just want to congratulate you for that.
Sorry about that, guys.
Once again, a big hand for Michael.